I'd like to call to order the meeting of Monday, June the 12th, and if the clerk would please take the roll.
Councilmember Archibald.
Here.
Councilmember Ashford.
Present.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Lamb.
Here.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Here.
Councilmember Warden.
Here.
Mayor Rep.
Here. You have before you the minutes from the special meeting of May 22nd and the regular meeting of May 22nd. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Ashford. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Archibald. Is there any additions or deletions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes will stand as submitted. We do have two presentations tonight. If the clerk would please read the first one.
Proclamation recognizing Juneteenth Day will be presented to Kevin Watkins.
If you would like to join me up here. I'm going to read it and then give you an opportunity to say a few remarks. Whereas Juneteenth is the oldest known celebration commemorating the ending of slavery in the United States, and whereas President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation in early 1863, it was 2.5 years later that General Gordon Granger rode into Texas with Union troops and read the proclamation that the war was over and the slaves were free, and the celebrations have continued ever since. And whereas this year's Juneteenth celebration will focus on the importance of a healthy mind and body, and emphasize on the significance of staying healthy both physically and mentally and not enslaving our bodies to bad habits and poor health choices. And whereas the annual Juneteenth celebration in the city of Port Huron will take place at the Donald E. Dodge Auditorium located at the St. Clair County Administration Building on Friday, June 16th. Now therefore I, Pauline M. Rep, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Port Huron, and on behalf of council members Archibald, Ashford, Harris, Lamb, Ruiz, and Warden, do hereby proclaim Friday, June 16, 2017, to be Juneteenth Celebration Day in the city of Port Huron, and urge all to take part in this no-cost, family-oriented event to celebrate freedom and to celebrate life. Thank you very much.
Mayor.
Oh, you're welcome, please.
It's very rare that I'm short for words, but the mayor just covered it all right there. I want to thank the city of Port Huron for this, and we're working together, and we're praying for you. We pray for all of us. Thank you.
Kevin, if you'd like to say what time it begins, perhaps in a few details.
Yeah, the program starts at 2 o'clock from 2 to 4. It was nice, a specific date. You'll see throughout the country different dates where they had, even though the date for June was June 19th, but it was the 10th, of different dates through June. Different municipalities will have this event. But here it's going to be this, Friday the 16th, 2 to 4 at the library. We usually partner with the library. Last year we partnered with MSU Extension, and we usually bring other partnerships in. We, like you stated there, we're focusing on good health, promoting reading for our youth. We have free book giveaway. We have a bike raffle. It's a lot of fun. It's a general fun event. We're going to have, I'm going to speak on the definition, meaning of Juneteenth, and we have a guest speaker. Matter of fact, our local college advisor, Mrs. Cece Sumter from Northern, is going to be a guest speaker, and she's great with youth. We concentrate mostly for elementary and middle school students. Yes, in the middle school. So please, if you can, come out right here at the Donald E. Dodge Auditorium, 2 to 4 p.m. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the second presentation.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashford will provide an update regarding the Blue Water Bus Transit.
Thank you, Mayor. As part of our goal session, this was one of the items that fell under me because I serve as the representative of the city for the council here and representing us. And there are actually 3 areas I just want to cover as far as the Blue Water Transit, just briefly. The first one I would like to undertake is the service that the Blue Water Area Transportation provides. The hours of our transportation came up to 58,826, and that is compared to last year's 2% up, so we're doing good. The miles of service is, and probably these numbers don't mean anything to you, so I'll give you some data language later, but there may be somebody listening who want to know the numbers behind this, But the miles of service that our buses have been traveling is 896,881, and that's up 4%. And our passenger trips are up 352,231, and that's 3% compared to last year. Now, our system, the number of employees that work at our Blue Water Transit is 123, and they encompass our bus driver, maintenance people, and staff people. The number of buses that you see going throughout the Fort Gratiot and the city of Port Huron, we have 80. And we also still believe in doing whatever we can for our climate here, global warming and all that. So the gallons of CNG fuel produced at our Blue Water area transportation is 171,959. And the visitors to our new transit center downtown is 45,124. In this report, I neglected to say this is mid-year, so this is all the data encompasses October the 1st, 2016 through March 31st, 2017. And so we have a relationship with all our nonprofit organizations, so we just don't sit there and just serve us and the people of the city of Port Huron, but we actually serve, the Council on Aging, community mental health. So we have grant and state funds that we reach out and we bring them in to see how we can be of service to them. So we want to get a 360, so it's not just picking up people here and there, but we go to where we can get some help, give people some extra added help. And the special projects that we have recently engaged in, and actually in the city, I think, Jim, that's part of your project, and he was telling me that our Assistant General Manager, David McElroy, we have a Zaxter bike share. And so that's something new that's happening throughout not just the state of Michigan, but just throughout our country, period, where people are just getting on bikes and not driving their cars. And so there's more to come on that one. And so the anticipated date for that to start is July of 2017. And then also the pedestrian improvements along Erie Street over by the college, SC4. Now the start date for us to doing that, actually we're right in that period of time right now is June 2017. So there are going to be some benches and some more floral design, landscaping. So that's a part of our responsibility to kind of have an upscale look over there in that area. And last but not least, under special projects, we have our mental health over in the transit center. In case people didn't know, we have a sort of like a convenience store. And that is run by the community mental health people, and so it gives them the opportunity to have a job and instill some dignity, that everybody can still work and add to the betterment of our city. So we have that. And just going forward, I had asked our general manager, I said, well, what shall I communicate to the council? And he said, well, we would like to incorporate new technology that would allow us to monitor our buses remotely and allow our customers the ability to see on the map where the buses is in real time. And when we do take trips, we have witnesses, or observe that, I should say, where most communities, their buses, it helps with the safety. You could just plug in on a screen and you could see how the bus tracking, sort of like your GS system. Is that what? Yeah, the GS system. So, so that we're heavily trying to incorporate more advanced technology to be more working more smarter and serving our public. And also, we had just got a grant for the Amtrak station. The Amtrak station is too small, the parking and all that. So we didn't get the grant, but we got a grant to study the possibility of where it could be located. I think that I got that right, Mayor? Okay. And let me see what else would be interesting here. And also, I would just like to announce, I know my fellow councilors didn't know, that Jim Wilson is the general manager. And just looking out into the future, Dave McElroy, he has been, the board, he is assistant general manager, also the finance director. So that is a change that you didn't know. And so I think that's it for me, other than to let the public know that we meet every fourth Wednesday of the month. at 4:45, and there is a spot on the agenda that the public, if you have any issues at all with buses, you're more than welcome to attend our meetings. Our chairperson is Linda Brockner, and she represents Fort Gratiot Township, and it's only two of us there, just Linda and myself representing Port Huron. So we just look forward to that, and I'm going to turn the rest of this over to you, Sue, to put on file. And I think you better take this one, too. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. If anyone has any questions, if I can't answer them, I'll put them in the hopper here and find out and respond back, but if not, that...
Councilmember Ruiz, I think, has a
Did
question.
have a comment just to make that, and that consider that Blue Water Transportation a real asset to this community in many, many ways. And we had great representation with Jim Fisher when he was representing it. We always have to have representation there. Anita has done great follow-up with that. And I've been to some of those meetings, and they're...
And you are my alternate delegate. I've almost forgot you.
But,
Sorry.
No, and it's just a matter of the meetings go well. Jim Wilson is really tuned into what's good for this community, and he seems to step up whenever we need special circumstances in transportation and such, so they should be commended for that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments or questions? Good report, thank
Good.
you.
Thank you.
We will move on to public comment. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council on any agenda item or any other matter under our jurisdiction, please come forward. You're allowed 4 minutes. If you would give us your name and place of residence.
Hello, my name is Ron Stewart. I live at 3120 North Range Road, out in Port Huron Township. I come to you tonight as the president of Main Street Memories Car Show. City Manager, Mr. Freed, Mayor Rep, council members, on behalf of the Main Street Memories Car Show Committee, we'd like to extend an invitation to everyone to attend our show this year. We are promoting this as a community-based, non-judge show. As our tagline reads, it's about community, not competition. We want everyone to relax, view the many cars, see old friends, make new ones. Enjoy the downtown area. Come see what Port Huron has to offer. Last year, we had just under 200 vehicles and around 1,000 spectators. We raised $9,300 in the first year for the Council on Aging. Proceeds from this year's event, again, will support Council on Aging. We are a nonprofit organization this year. We're dedicated auto enthusiasts who are committed to a grassroots effort to continue and grow the Main Street Memories Car Show and showcase the downtown businesses. There's a vision of ours to resurrect this once grand car show to Main Street Port Huron, and together with your help and support, we have made this event a success. This year, we have secured a total of 119 sponsors. Of them, 45 are from downtown businesses. Of them 45, 23 of them sponsored to be on our map in our booklet. So in our booklet, we will have a map showcasing all those businesses. The 45 downtown businesses have provided $4,175 towards the total amount that we have collected. And this is not including door prizes valued at around $800. So we want to thank the downtown businesses for their support this year. To begin with this weekend, we are working with Scott Beeden in promoting the Fourth Friday in July. Sperry's Movie House plans on showing some car-related movies. They're hoping to get Grease and maybe American Graffiti down there. We plan to support him back and promote this through our Facebook page and by showing up and having a small display of cars that night. So hopefully in your packet, I sent a couple things that you should have on our show, a flyer and a little bit of information. I'll go through some of the highlights. So it's the Main Street Memories Car Show. It's held July 29th, 2017 from 10 to 4 p.m. Registration begins at 8, will end at 11. The show will be held on Main Street, Huron Avenue, between Quay Street and Glenwood. Young's Entertainment, a DJ, will be providing music throughout the downtown area. He has a Wi-Fi system, so it'll be background music, but we'll be able to get it throughout the whole area. The theme for this year is tribute to automotive racing. We have a lot of different types of cars, a boat, a dune buggy, a little bit of everything, a salt flats car on display. We also have the Model T assembly team that was here last year. They're coming back and doing 3 shows. We have Showtime Monster Truck will be on display. You guys see this truck. Tires are 73 inches tall on that thing. We will have some, even though this is a non-judge show, we will have sponsor choice awards, including Mayor's Choice. She did it last year. I think she had fun doing that, so we thank you for coming back. Then, Council on Aging will be having their inaugural Main Street Memories Art and Craft Show at their building from 10 to 4. They will also be running their buses for the participants, taking them all the way up to the lighthouse, down to
The turnoff.
down there, yes,
Yeah.
yes, thank you. And through town. I apologize for that. So they're going to be doing a lot of things to help support us back. We are providing car show booklets, which will have information regarding the show and which will have advertisements of all the sponsors. Again, 119 of them. Sponsors will have these in advance to display and to hand out to everybody. In the center, like I said, there is a downtown map of the downtown area showcasing the restaurants, the shops, and the businesses of the businesses that have supported us this year. The 23 businesses I talked about will be on that map. So I'd like to take a moment just to introduce you to the Board of Directors. They weren't ready for this, but I'm going to do it anyhow. So I'm Ron Seward, I'm the President. We have Gary Niver, if you guys would stand up for a minute. Gary Niver is our Vice President. We have Gary Stewart, he's our CFO. Jim Moore, he's our Cruise Director. Craig Albert. Dave Giles. And then we have Tim Floyd. Hans Huson, who is also a consultant, not able to be with us, but he's been a very big help. And of course, the person who holds us all together is Mary Taylor from Council on Aging. She's providing us the meeting spot and doing a lot for us. So I'd like to thank you once more for your generous support. It's not something we take lightly and is very much appreciated by all of us. As we continue to grow, please know that every one of you is vital to the support and success of this event. We hope that you enjoy being a part of this event as much as we enjoy having you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a great event last year, so I'm looking forward to another great event. Thank you
very much.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Good evening, City Council, Mayor and City Council. Mark Ribble from Chef Shell's Restaurant and Catering, 324 Superior Mall, downtown Port Huron. I am here with the follow-up that I turned a petition into you back in March about the parking. There was over 500 signatures that I had sent, and there's been no official follow-up from anybody from the City Council or from the Mayor's office. I'd just like to find out what's going on with this. We had 500 people that signed something, and I just pretty much saved the city $30,000 from a parking study. There is a problem, because 500 people said there is a problem with parking. So, with that in mind, with the parking, these petitions were not just from my restaurant, they were from businesses up and down Main Street. And I have still talked with business owners and property owners, and they're still hearing different negative things about people. There's no place to park. I don't want to mention other business names because I just don't want to go there at this time because I just want to represent this. And I'd just like to ask this. I hate to say it this way. I did write some notes because I like doing that. It just shows that this issue just been kind of pushed under the rug. And I've dealt with leadership with Lansing and in Capitol Hill and dealing with issues. And sometimes the leadership word that I come up with is enmity. And I know that's our style here of leadership, because people, you care about our community. 500 people care about our community. And these businesses that come downtown investing in Port Huron care about our community. Business bring in commerce, commerce brings in people, people bring in money, but people bring one other thing, cars. And where do they park? The parking with the gates in McMorran during the weekday, there's usually about 5 cars all day long in each lot. And it's really bottlenecking parking. And I heard there's rumors you want to put more gates up, and I don't think that's healthy for the community or healthy for the city. Our city is growing. Our city, people need a place to park. And the worst thing about it is, I've heard from my guests, well, why do I want to come back if I can't find a place to park? Study shows that if parking lots are 3/4 full, people want to leave. They can't find a place to park. Parking is a major issue for the city. And in closing, I'll just say this. I just hope that whoever's making this decision, the city council, the mayor and the city council, that you look at it with wisdom and with with godly wisdom and deal with this issue because it is affecting our community. Because I don't want to see businesses leave. I talk to business owners who are frustrated and they can't find a place to park. And I know a lot of it has to do with employee parking and everything else. I know it's an issue. But I know there's wisdoms out there that you can deal with this. But I'm just asking for some accountability, that somebody officially would get back in touch with me to let me know what your thoughts are on this. Thank you, Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Just so you know, it has not been swept under the rug. It is
Okay.
part of our goals for this year, and I do know our city manager has followed up. In fact, I would let him say a few comments on it. It's
Okay.
not to go back and forth,
Okay,
but he
so
will.
I understand.
So we take your petition very serious.
Thank you. Thank you, James.
We also want to make sure that the question presented to people is fair and accurate. Who supports free parking? Everybody. But unfortunately, that parking goes to funding those assets, goes towards funding McMorran. And so if the question was posed, do you support cutting $200,000 of funding to McMorran? The answer would be no. Do you support not maintaining, plowing, or repairing our parking lots? The answer would be no. So we appreciate the petition, but I don't think the question was quite fair. However, we have been working with the business owners down there for the last year now. I have conducted numerous site visits. Our chief of police have conducted numerous site visits. Our traffic safety officer has conducted numerous site visits. Numerous traffic control orders were changed to allow for more one-hour parking. Instead of more loading zones, we had more parking spots. You yourself sent me a communication in regards to the more parking in front of your business along McMorran Avenue. I just attended a Rotary meeting where Scott Beeden, the general manager of Sperry's, spoke to the entire Rotary about how parking, he can count on his two hands how many complaints they get, and they have 3,500 people a weekend going in there. So we appreciate your concerns. I take issue with the notion that we haven't been proactive in addressing these concerns. This has been a discussion that's going on in the downtown business community now for well over a year, and most of our business community seems pretty understanding of what's going on. So I'd like to hear more from them, because at this point, you're the only person I am communicating with that has an issue still.
Correct. But it's not just me, it's other businesses as well.
I'd like to speak with them.
We can't go back and forth
understand.
right now,
So thank
but
you so
we
very
will.
much. Okay.
I just wanted you to know that it hasn't been
Right.
just forgotten, and you were looking into what it would be to
Correct.
update our parking.
Correct.
study,
We have a
as
consultant.
opposed to a new one. So-
We have a consultant who did our original parking study, who we're setting up to come back into town and to essentially update the numbers, update the parking spots and the data sets, and then take into account for some of the things that have changed.
So that will happen, so, just so you know.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the city council this evening?
My name is William Brown. I live at 1719 Minnie Street. I would like to read a letter that I sent to you on the 3rd of June, if it's possible.
As long as it fits in the 4 minutes, yes.
Okay, well, it's only 2 pages. Madam Mayor and council members, I've been following with some dismay the comments made in the Times Herald regarding Vision Quest and the three-quarter houses facilities in the city of Port Huron. As a Port Huron resident since 1978 and an active member of our recovery community, continually sober since 1977, I've been pleased to note that these three-quarter houses have been very beneficial to long-term recovery of many alcoholics and addicts over the past 10 to 15 years. These alcoholics and addicts have voluntarily placed themselves in these three-quarter houses after leaving rehabilitation facilities such as the Sacred Heart in Memphis, where they have been introduced to the disciplines and lifestyle changes necessary for them to become responsible members of their communities. These three-quarter houses do not offer counseling or other medical services. They do, however, insist that their residents stay drug and alcohol-free and attend 12-step programs and professionally offered counseling and assistance to enable them to generate willingness to stay clean and sober. I have no professional license, but as an active member of our recovery community with 40 years of recovery experience, I attend and generate meetings and one-on-one engagements with these new and recovery people and share my experience, strength, and hope with them, demonstrating that we can and do accomplish long-term recovery. Over the years, I've noted the closure of several of these three-quarter houses because of the economics involved. I have personally come to know the owners and operators of these homes, and I'm certain they are not in the business for profit, but rather for altruistic reasons. They watch addicts and alcoholics recover in their three-quarter houses and then experience the pleasure of seeing these recovered alcoholics and addicts become responsible and valued members of our community. The complaints made alleging that the residents are overcharged or otherwise taken advantage of are baseless. compare the monthly costs of motels and et cetera to the charges levied by Vision Quest. And also, please be aware that these are safe houses for those new in recovery as compared to going back too soon to their old neighborhoods where they are exposed again to the temptations of drugs and alcohol. In recovery, many of them have returned to their hometowns, and some of the outer towners have permanently relocated here to Port Huron, now clean and sober, capable of resisting those temptations, and are now responsible and valued members of our communities and friends of mine. We are all aware of the opioid epidemic destroying lives here. It is my opinion that if we were to force these three-quarter houses to close without giving them an opportunity to justify their continued existence in our city, we are suppressing chances for the recovery of these addicts. Whatever problems you may believe these facilities are generating, I believe that closing them will cost the taxpayers of the city of Port Huron much more in lives and hospital first responder expenses. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the city council this evening? Declare public comment closed. We will move on to from the city manager. And because they all deal with McMorran, I would suggest that we read all of the items, it would be 1 through 4 together, but we will vote on them separately.
Consent agenda, what did we do?
Oh, I'm sorry, I completely forgot the consent agenda. So I'm moving on from the city manager. The consent agenda, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashford, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Archibald.
You ready?
I know, I was really ready, I'm moving on. Anyways, we will take the vote on the consent.
Mayor Rep.
Yes.
Can you
Councilmember Ward.
please remove item number 5 and 6, resolution 17070 and 17071? I think they're both the same, but I'd like to.
What item?
You're both scheduling a public hearing?
Yep.
Okay. Then we will vote on the balance of the items under the consent agenda.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, items were number 4 on resolutions confirming and approving single lot special assessments for the cost of emergency board-ups of structures at various locations. Then several appointments and reappointments confirming the mayor's reappointment of Edward Brennan, William Olford Jr., and Timothy Ward to the Local Development Finance Authority for terms to expire June 11th, 2021, and the appointment of Laura Luttrell as a life member of the Beautification Commission, as well as authorizing the levy of the operating tax rate for the Blue Water Area Transportation Commission as authorized by the voters on May 3rd, 2016 for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2017. Now we will go to from the city manager. And items 1 through 4, because they will all can be talked about at the same time and relate to McMorran, but we will vote on the items separately because they're different bids. So if you could read 1 through 4, please.
Number 1 is accepting the bid from Independent Floor Covering in the amount of $47,158.66 for the removal and replacement of carpeting in the McMorran Theater and Lobby area to be paid from funding allocated by the City Council on September 12, 2016, along with grant revenues of $30,000 received from the Alden Dow Foundation. Number 2 is accepting the bid from Independent Floor Covering in the amount of $11,595 for the removal and replacement of the carpeting in the McMorran Lounge lower level, again to be paid from funding allocated by the City Council on September 12, 2016. Number 3 is accepting the bid from Independent Floor Covering in the amount of $11,313 for the removal of carpeting and replacement with vinyl flooring in the McMorran Memorial Room to be paid from funds, again allocated by the City Council on September 12, 2016. Number 4 is accepting the bid from Ritter Painting Contractors, LLC, in the amount of $56,000 for painting of the ceiling in the McMorran Main Arena to be paid from funding allocated by the City Council on September 12, 2016.
Thank you. Perhaps you could give us an explanation.
Madam Mayor, in September, the council allocated. Yep.
Before you start talking, we will take the motion. Could I have a motion, please, to adopt those?
So moved. Number 1.
All of them.
Well, we can adopt all of, we can do a motion for all of them, we'll just vote on each one
Okay, gotcha,
separately.
okay.
Yes. Second, please.
Second? Oh.
Councilmember Lamb. No, we just need the one motion, so. Okay, go ahead. Mr. Freed.
Back in September, when the council made the motion for additional funding to address some of the immediate capital needs at McMorran, we charged Nancy Windsor, our golden goose, to find additional, she loves that name, to find additional grant funding. I was hoping Nancy could come up and talk about some of the additional grant funding we were able to leverage at McMorran.
Mayor and City Council, I'm going to stop coming up if he calls me.
Rico just said.
I'm going to protest. Now got me all flustered. So as James did say, when you guys approved the capital funding in the fall, you know, you charged us with trying to find some monies to leverage that. And we have been working towards that. Obviously, we want to try to leverage more in the future, but we did this year find, $30,000 from the Alden Dow Foundation, and that was specifically for the carpet. So this is a project that we've been needing really bad. It's actually a bit of a tripping hazard. If you've been there, there's tape, and these particular funds have to be reported on and I believe used by August. So that's why the timing on this one's pretty important. And also the Kramer Foundation gave us $15,000, and then the Community Foundation as well with $49,000. So we did get some additional funding. We're hoping to work towards more next year, but there were some critical projects that need to be done, as you know from the list, so. That-
Yeah.
that is a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashford.
So all this extra funding is timed to now, so we'll lose it if we wait.
Yeah, especially the one from the Alden Dow Foundation. That one is one that we have to report on in August, and that one was specifically for the carpet project, so.
Thank you, Nancy.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Mayor.
You're welcome.
Mayor Rapp,
Yes, Councilmember Archibald.
as council will recall in September when the money was allocated by council to McMorran, there was a list of priorities and things that were going to be addressed with the funding. So as the liaison, I just wanted to give you an update on what we went through in the process so that you'll know. It came to our attention that since the funding was the city funding, even though we've went out for bid, we still need to bring it back to the council for that final approval. Nancy went out for bid at the authority's approval to carpet what we originally thought was going to be the lobby and the theater, and maybe if we were lucky, we could do the memorial room. And we kind of tossed around, but we asked them to come back and give us a bid on everything. One, independent flooring came back at less than half.
Yeah.
Am I correct in my memory of less than half of what everyone else bid? I personally would like to thank them as well because they cut their profit significantly in order to allow us to not do a piece here and a piece there, but to do something that would flow through the entire building. So with these requests before you, we would be able to do the memorial room, the lounge where the weddings are held in the downstairs, as well as flooring for the dance floor, and the entire theater, the entire lobby, and hopefully the entire upstairs. So we're very excited about what we're going to be able to offer and the prices that came in, and I think you'll love what's going to happen there.
And Ken had brought it up at the beginning of the meeting, which, they were also very good about letting our staff borrow equipment, and our staff ripped up carpet so that we could bring it to an affordable, so that we could, make it more feasible to get the whole area done too, so.
Yeah, thank you for
Thanks
that.
for
and we should
reminding me of that, Ken. But,
Thank your staff publicly as well
Yeah,
for all the
yes,
hard work
yeah,
they put
they did
into
a great
ripping up
job.
everything.
Yeah, more to be ripped.
More to be ripped. When is it going to go down? When is the new carpeting?
We're hoping in the next, she said 3 to 4 weeks, so no commitments.
Yeah, no. Councilmember Harris.
I was just going to comment, yes, I did talk to her earlier, and it is significant what we're getting from the people that work at McMorran already, because some of the nastiest part of carpet jobs is taking out the old thing. The only thing that I wanted to qualify, since we're talking about 4 things, we are not going to let them get up on the ladders and paint the ceiling.
No.
But really, I mean, I was there at our last meeting, and we had to meet in the main arena because they were already starting to tear up the memorial room, and I just think it's about time, and it'll be nice to see the change.
Anybody have any other
Very
questions?
difficult to pick carpet.
Mayor
Takes a
Who
while.
knew there were so many out
Mayor
there?
Rapp,
Councilmember Warden.
So we're basically commenting on all four right now, or just some questions on all
For
four?
questions,
Okay.
yes. We'll vote
Well,
separately.
Yeah, first is appreciate you guys finding the Alden Dow Foundation for 30,000 grant, and also the 47,000 just for the carpet here. That's what, 17,000 out of, is it McMorrin funds, or is it out of the City of Port Huron funds that that's coming from?
It's out of our capital,
Okay.
a lot of, and some of that's our millage money as well from the county, so.
And I just want to comment that the bidders that we had are local, all, Independent Flooring Edge and Kimball, FCI Fountains in Port Huron, and I think the other one's down in Georgia. So it's nice to see that we did get some local companies, local contractors to come and help out. On the lounge, actually, I'm sorry, the memorial room, it says vinyl flooring, like a vinyl flooring, is that like a tile? Or what,
No, like
the memorial room, it says vinyl flooring, the other ones are carpet, I think, so.
It's
Is
more
there,
of like, my decorator there's a little better at what it's,
Yeah.
it's more like a vinyl wood.
LVT,
Yeah, LVT.
commercial grade LVT, it is really truly a vinyl flooring, but it's much heavier, it has a cushion backing, soundproofing, and it is designed to be slip-proof. And in this particular case, what was chosen is a wood look, so it looks as if it's real wood.
yeah, kind of like the vinyl tile, the new vinyl tile, those are very durable. So I just, again, on those three, again, I want to say thank you to engage in the local people to come forward and participate in the bid. On the painting, just have a question on the painting. Number one, this is going to be the indoor of the arena, the whole ceiling, and all the beams. What color are you guys, do you know what color you're doing yet?
Bright white,
White?
Yeah.
Okay. And as far as pretty familiar with that, there's a lot of, puck damage over the years where there's some broken boards or different things. Is that going to be,
actually, those are, it
No?
looks like puck damage, but it's not.
What's that?
It looks like puck damage,
Yeah.
but it's not. We've actually, when they come into rig for big shows, those are cut in there on purpose.
Okay.
So Rob, who I'd like to give a lot of credit to, Rob Churchill, he's working with our rigging company to make a clean cut up there.
Okay.
So that it looks more, because I know when you look at it, it looks like a puck, but it's not really.
Yeah.
It's really where the riggers put things through the I-beams. So we will be fixing that aesthetically as well before we paint.
and those catwalks up there are still, everything is, it's just going to be the covering and the ceiling?
Yeah.
All white? Okay.
Yep.
And I do want to commend, again, there are some local contractors here that, did at least submit, but this Ritter painting looks like it's almost, substantially way less. So
Yeah, and I
got
think-
lucky with that.
That's due to our timing, because we have to work within when the ice is out.
Yeah.
And painting companies are very busy, so,
Yeah.
we,
And the next closest one is 70,000, the other ones are 100,000, 200, I mean, so this one's for 56,000, and that's going to be a pretty big project, so I want to thank you for putting that effort in and brightening that place up.
yeah, right now.
Be nice. Any other questions? Oh, yes.
I don't have no questions, but I do have a comment. Nancy, I'm glad you were prepared with your response in terms of leveraging how people, the private sector has stepped forward, and you had done other things to add to this pot of money, because I think it's so important at this particular time that we walk our talk as a council. We see what we have in front of us and unfunded liabilities and watching how we spend things. And actually, I was personally, kind of like, hey, wait a minute here. Had I not gotten that feedback from you guys doing your due diligence, I would have been a no vote tonight. But I see that, here where we can't do, and that's what we want more of, our public to step up and help us out. And so when we have to be receptive to that. And so that is what at least I can speak for myself, and I heard Councilmember Harris, because I think on September the 12th, he was the only one that voted no, on the improvements, and the rest of us had voted yes, because at that time, it was a different story. But
Right.
as you go on, there's a lot of things that change. And so that's what we always have to be prepared to do as council members. We have to be flexible and have to be focused to what is happening now. So,
Unfortunately, a lot of these grants, unless you have those dollars to leverage
Yeah.
and have that match, it's difficult to get.
yeah, and the
so.
public got to understand that, so we're not trying to spend, we're trying to, work in
Take
concert
opportunities,
and
yeah.
opportunity when it's there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Rush.
You're welcome. Thank you, Nancy. Good job. We will take the vote on item 1.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 2.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 3.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 4.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Move on to from the city manager, number 5.
Is accepting the unit price bid from Compass Minerals America, Inc. in the amount of $48.83 per ton for early and backup delivery of salt for ice and snow control.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashford, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Archibald. How does this relate to last year's?
Actually, I'll have Lenny come up. I think we paid about $52 a ton last year, but Lenny will come up and let you know how many we're ordering and how much we still have left in storage. The city council made a strategic move several years ago to build salt storage, and so we'll talk about the benefits of that as well.
Madam Mayor, Council. This particular bid, we got 4 bids for early and 4 bids for late or backup salt delivery. We get early delivery in October and backup in February or so. The low bid here is $48.83 per ton. Last year, the low bid was $54.24 per ton. The year before that, it was $55.05 per ton, and the year before that, it was $52.31 per ton. We knew that the prices were going to be lower this year because we had a very mild winter, and therefore the stores of salt are larger, and so the prices were going to be lower. Any questions?
How much did we have left from last year?
That's a good question.
We had about 2,500 tons remaining, and we essentially declined to buy all of our second purchase of salt because we didn't really need it. The price we knew, had to make a decision earlier this year whether we were going to buy it. I said, no, I know the price is going to be lower, and so we're going to make it up here with lower price salt.
Which is good. Any questions?
Yeah, what's the
Mayor Pro Tem
capacity?
Ashford?
I'm sorry?
Thank you. What's the capacity?
Our capacity of our new salt storage is 5,000 tons. We can put 6,500 tons in the building, but we'd have to load from the outside. So with 5,000 tons, we could load from the inside enclosed.
Oh,
As hard as that is to believe.
oh, okay. And so as the mayor was saying, we didn't have a tough year last year, so we didn't use as much, correct?
Yes, ma'am, we did not.
Okay, so we just leveling off to capacity at this point, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Mayor Rep.
Yes, Councilmember Archibald.
Lenny, I know we had a really warm winter last year and didn't use it, but do you have an estimate of what we typically use in a winter? What's our average, not counting last year?
Oh, I'd hate to try and venture on the
Okay.
average, but we generally buy between 4,000 to 5,000 tons per year, and that's what we generally use. We used less than 4,000 tons this year, but more like 3,500.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Mayor Rep.
Yes, Councilmember Warden.
Just a comment, it's kind of interesting that I'm glad that the bid come in the way it did, because I think it was recently, and maybe in Grain's Business Weekly, they talked about kind of a little mini war between Canadian salt and American salt, and maybe that's had something to do with the market and stuff, but I'm glad to see it, and I just hope that we buy enough. And
As fun and entertaining as it may be to see a delivery of salt from Kansas City, Kansas, which is the headquarters of this particular company, it just so happens that the mine for this company is in Ontario, about 80 miles that way.
so it has something to do
It
with
is Canadian salt.
with the international warfare. Okay, thank you.
It will be delivered across the Blue Water Bridge.
All right.
You had a comment,
Yeah.
Councilmember Warden?
Thanks. Just for the store, 2,500 tons is what we had left over from last year, and that was the early purchase, and then what we already had in storage, and then you had just a little bit you had to exercise on the backup. Is that what you said when you first started?
I think you may have captured that in its essence, yes.
Okay, that's good. So now we can go ahead and take the early, know we have it locked in, we already have a backup, and this lower rate here, when we accept this, is if we need it, we can exercise up to 2,500 tons at that same rate? The
Yes, sir.
48? Okay, thank you very much. It's good work.
Other comments? Thank you. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Warden,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 6 under from the city manager.
Is accepting the bid from Raymond Excavating Company in the amount of $626,571.55 for the Lakeview Avenue and Pleasant Place Water Main and Street Reconstruction Project.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Councilmember Archibald, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Ashford. If we could have a synopsis on this, please.
Lenny?
He's sitting there waiting, so.
Yes. Showtime. Can you give us a brief description of the scope of work?
All right, Madam Mayor, Council, this particular project comprises two separate roads, Lakeview Avenue and Pleasant Place. These particular roads were chosen because they had a very low, what we call PASER rating. The roads were in bad shape, and the utilities beneath them were getting old. On Lakeview, for example, the road was built in 1957, has not been rebuilt since then. That's as old as me, by the way. And in that road, in 1951 was a 6-inch water main was installed, and in 1941, an 8-inch sanitary, which is vitreous clay. If we run into vitreous clay today, we replace it immediately, if not sooner. Pleasant Place has a 6-inch water main that was built in 1890. We think it's time to replace it. The road, of course, is newer. It was only built in 1940. So, with that, we had bids from 4 major construction companies, which we have had a good working relationship with. Raymond has consistently done a good job for us. Should you approve this project tonight, we will have the public meeting with the residents in this room on the 21st of June. The kickoff is going to be right after the 4th of July.
Questions from anyone?
Mayor Rep?
Yes.
This is, the old water sewer separation, is this part of that still wasn't done, or is this just a separate issue that we're dealing with
This is
aging?
a small road,
Yep.
series of roads. We combined them for scale, so we would get better prices, and there was no CSO work done on these roads at all.
And was this part of the capital, or the
Yes,
capital
sir.
from prior?
We've been planning these for a few years now.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you very much, again, for the four bids, and again, 3 of them pretty local, even 4 pretty local and substantial. The lower bid there with Raymond Excavating, I want to thank them for coming in. Was it 60,000 less than the next bid? So, thank you very much.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashford has a question for you, Lenny. Before you sit down.
I
You're going to have to get back up again.
I know this is included in that map that you showed us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the basic breakdown of the financing is from where?
It is all local funding, all paid for by the city.
Oh, okay, thank you.
These are completely local roads, so we don't get the MDOT funding with this at all.
Madam Mayor, just to add to that, the surface portion will be paid for out of our local street funds. The water and wastewater portion will be paid for out of the utility capital. And so when you look at your capital improvement plan, you'll see corresponding projects between utilities and streets, and that's intentional. The governor just announced that SEMCOG, a program, so communities, when they tear up a road, they also look at infrastructure. Well, we've been doing that for 20 years, so it's really not that innovative, but, so that's why we do that.
Okay, so you're just going to transfer from one to the other funding? Okay, thank you.
I'll just wait right here.
Oh,
Okay, well, you have other things on here, so you might as well wait around, yes. I think we're done with this one and can take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, item 7, please.
Is accepting the proposal from Preferred Heating and Cooling LLC in the amount of $35,840.50 for the removal and replacement of the air handling unit in the administration building at the wastewater treatment plant.
Is there a motion?
Mayor, point of order. I liked what you did before, and we can still, if she can read them all,
Oh, you mean
and
because
then
they're
vote
all,
on them separately, since they're
oh,
different.
they're all for the, preferred.
Yeah, they're all preferred. You had a good idea,
Yeah.
that would help.
Yeah. Nope, that's fine. If not, unless somebody has an objection, we'll go ahead. You can read the other 2 items too, please.
Number 8 is accepting the proposal from Preferred Heating and Cooling LLC in the amount of $8,888.05 for the removal and replacement of the natural gas-fired boiler in the administration building at the wastewater treatment plant. Number 9 is accepting the proposal from Preferred Heating and Cooling LLC in the amount of $7,693.13 for the removal and replacement of the natural gas-fired boiler in the maintenance garage at the wastewater treatment plant.
Is there a motion to approve all 3 of these? Or to put them on the front of you anyways for voting? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Ashford. Is there a second?
Support?
Councilmember Lamb. And you're standing up there, so I guess you're going to explain these to, it's amazing that Preferred got the bid for all 3 of them and substantially lower.
Well, Madam Mayor, Council, these were actually 3 separate bids, and they were put out to the entire community, and it just so happens that Preferred came in low, apparent low bidder on all 3. Sometimes that happens. In this particular case, the first item is the air handling unit at the admin building of the wastewater plant, and this is a chiller unit that sits in the basement. It's a 20-ton unit. It's 20 years old, and it is in need of replacement. It maintains the air within the administrative building itself, which is the offices and the laboratory and things of that nature. The other 2 are for natural gas-fired boilers that run the heating units for, one, the admin building that I just described, and the other is the maintenance garage at the wastewater plant. And sharp-eyed council members might see that there's a air handling unit for the wastewater maintenance garage that's not here. That happens to be in next year's budget. So this is actually a planned capital improvement that, we have on, we stagger these items, and this year it came up for these 3 items to be replaced. They were decided by the maintenance staff priorities from past years. It goes into the capital improvement program that you approve every year. And just so you know, the heaters serve the fan coil units that sit under each window, and the air actually handles the air conditioning throughout the entire building.
Any
The
questions?
boilers are original with the buildings back in '74.
You're up.
Councilmember Harris?
I guess my question is I tried to Google and see what, the company Preferred Heating in Melvin, I tried to get some background. Have we had any experience with them before?
Yes, sir. We've had work with all of these companies, and we found them acceptable.
Any other questions?
Mayor Rep.
Councilmember Warden?
Just on the, like for, first one is the ad building, the air conditioning unit. Have we, I'm assuming have we had much maintenance cost as far as for that unit or replacement of any things over the, you said it's over 20 years old. constant checkups or any capital costs that have been, how often have they been maintained, and do you have any idea?
Yes, it has been an increasing cost every year, and that was why the maintenance staff gave it a priority to replace this one as soon as we could. And this is the year it came up. It's going to save us a lot of maintenance for the next 10, 20 years, we hope.
Okay, and I have the same question, of course, for the boilers, because I know when you.
Yes,
you
those
know,
boilers are both original with the building, and they are inefficient, and they are costly to maintain, and we're looking to put in modern natural gas-fired boilers. Every building has its own system. We don't have a local plant to serve the entire campus. That's not the way it was designed, so we have to deal with these a building at a time.
Yeah, I'm just, when it comes to some of those older units, what my experience is that sometimes we have to replace a whole condenser or a whole, unit in there.
In this case, it's a boiler, so.
Yeah, and then I'm just saying, and then on the boiler, you could sometimes have a total replacement. I'll have to look into it. I don't know if we had to redo that at some point, but I just was wondering what the cost was prior of maintenance and now getting a brand-new one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? We'll take the vote. Each one separate, yeah.
Yeah, this is number 7. Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes.
Number 8, Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes.
Number 9, Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. We'll move on to item 10.
Is accepting the sole source quote from Wolverine Fire Protection Company in the amount of $9,970 to provide the installation of 8 addressable smoke detectors and 3 addressable relays for the west bank of elevators at the Municipal Office Center.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Archibald, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Madam Mayor and Council, real quick, Lenny, on this one, are we legally obligated under code to install these smoke detectors?
Yes, sir, we are.
Thank you.
Guess that kind of answers that question.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any further questions?
You bet not.
We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. We'll move on to resolutions. Number 1.
Is authorizing 13 payments.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Archibald, is there a second?
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashford.
Madam Mayor,
Yes. Mr.
as you
Freed.
notice, we continue to add more detail when possible to the contract, provide you guys some better understanding where those costs went. I also want to note the Torello contract for the dredging at the canal mouth. We will be billing back our township partners for their proportional share. We appreciate Port Huron Township and Fort Gratiot Township joining us to keep that safe passage open this summer. And we had it open right before prime season, and so far it looks pretty good as of 2 days ago.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Ashford.
And what is that share we would be billing in the amount of?
I believe it's a maximum of $7,500 per township for a total of $15,000 share.
Okay.
So for the last couple of years, we've been eating that cost percent, and so we proportionally charge up based on the amount of shoreline, proportionate to how much shoreline we have versus how much shoreline they have. So that's kind of how we,
Justify it.
yeah, as close as we can get.
Oh, okay.
Any other discussion on resolution number 1?
Mayor Rep, I just had a quick question on one of the things had a change order. It was change order of almost pretty close to 70-80%. But I think it was the Craft Power Corporation for the repair of
Attachment
the.
113.
Yes. Natural gas, go ahead, you can read it off.
Yeah, the
there, but
explanation was at the
just
top.
kind of wonder what happened there and maybe give them a little detail, because it looks like it's for a pump engine, which is important.
Lenny, I think it's at the top you put it.
Madam Mayor, Council, you're asking about attachment 1-13, payment for Craft Power.
Just the change order
This-
there. Yeah.
Yes, the original contract was for the maintenance of that particular emergency backup generator for sewer, it should be a pump for raw sewage that runs on natural gas. It doesn't, that is our backup in case other sources fail. In the process of taking this apart, they found that there was a problem with the oil pan. After the oil pan was removed, that water was running through the unit and the water was leaking from the number 2 cylinder liner O-rings, and that they need to replace the O-rings and the piston rings and oil pan gasket. Could not tell that from the initial inspection. It was this that was the change order.
Okay.
As part of, before they put it back together, they said we need to fix the actual problem because these units are only run periodically and they needed annual maintenance. When they did the maintenance, they found this major problem.
Okay. So it's all done now? It's all fixed?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Mayor Rep, I was
Yeah.
just going to ask Lenny here.
You can't sit down yet.
Not yet. I guess my big question, because I had that highlighted here too, was the fact that with the degree of repair work that they had to do, how much smarter would it have been to replace with a new?
The replacement for this pump is $200,000.
Okay,
So we figured it's probably worth it.
good answer. Good answer.
And you get an Oscar.
Thank you. I think you're done. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Warden,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 2 under resolutions.
Approving the agreement with CBiz Benefits and Insurance Services Incorporated to conduct an actuarial valuation of post-employment healthcare benefits for the city.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Pro Tem Ashford, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Ruiz, is there a discussion?
Can we have an explanation overall and how this impacts our going forward?
Mr. Brennan will address
Issues?
that.
Yeah. Make it.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is the actuarial study for our OPEB valuation.
Okay.
So we're required to have that every 2 years to update the numbers, record an accurate liability for our financial statements. The good news is that MERS is a partner in this, and they negotiate a discounted rate for us. The rate 2 years ago was $11,800, and this year's rate is $12,000, so it's only gone up $200. So that was kind of a welcome surprise, I think.
Any, Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
I guess that was one of the only questions that I had here, because I looked in the 4th paragraph, and they said it was a result of a competitive process. So MERS actually is the one that did the competitive
Right, MERS,
process.
it's sort of similar to the state bids. MERS does the bidding, and then anyone who's a MERS member can kind of take their pricing and use it, so.
I trust them, thank you.
And really, they're using the same data set because or a lot of the same data, because the census of our retirees and our employees is very similar information.
The company's changed names, but it's still basically the same
Yes.
actuaries. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Brennan? Thank you. We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald,
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Warden,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Move on to item 3.
Is authorizing the purchase of 21 tax foreclosed properties from the St. Clair County Treasurer in the amount of $117,233.63, along with all associated transferring costs for the public purpose of future industrial development projects for job creation, blight elimination, and/or rehabilitation.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Archibald, is there a second?
Support?
Councilmember Lamb. Mr. Freed, if you could.
Yeah,
explain.
I'll try to do my best I can, then David can come up and explain the rest if need be. But essentially, these properties, they go back to the taxing jurisdictions. We have first right of refusal. We have reviewed these properties. We believe that these homes can be redeveloped and made into single-family homes using the Port Huron Housing Corporation. We believe that the streets over on Nern, Little, and Moak pose a benefit to future industrial sites and capacity. And then the rest for the blight elimination, essentially getting those cancerous blighted homes out of the community. So it's kind of a three-pronged approach here, but we don't want to miss that opportunity. So 3 different funding sources as well, not general tax dollars. Did I miss anything?
You did a great job.
Appreciate that, David.
Good evening, council. As Mr. Freed just had told you, we're looking at 3 different types of purchases. The first being accumulation of vacant land, a portion of it going to the industrial area, where we're looking to combine additional sites for hopefully future expansion of industrial. The other on Little Street is we'll be dovetailing in with some other land that we have in that area, and we'll be able to combine and actually square up a section of land for redevelopment. And the last piece is on Moak Street for the vacant land, is where there's a large chunk of vacant property. And years ago, a developer had proposed putting a condo in that location. Well, as he subdivided even the airspace within that lot, and he kind of minimized every section of it. Well, what we're purchasing right now is what is essentially a second-story unit on a vacant lot. So we're basically buying air. But without getting control of this air, we don't have control of the ground underneath. So once we get these last 2 lots, we'll have full control of the site, and now we can open it back up again for redevelopment.
David, not on your list, but can you talk about your most recent neighborhood redevelopment home that we did? I want to talk. I will let the council know. Just give them an idea of what the market is and the appetite in our community is right now.
That's a fantastic point, and that's one of the main reasons why we're looking to expand and purchasing additional tax foreclosed properties. 1502 Howard Street, we just finished, probably in the last 2.5 weeks. We actually put it on the market on a Friday.
Real quick, explain what that means by finished. What did we do to the property?
When we purchased it and gutted the inside. Actually, we had help from the ones who had already broken into the house and gutting the inside. They had taken the electrical, the plumbing, and they had broken into the walls. It was basically, we were kind of deciding whether or not it should go to the wrecking ball. We decided to save it, and we're glad we did. We completely gutted the interior, all new baths, new kitchens, new electrical, even the garage, everything, siding. The house is a corner lot. We cleaned up the exterior and landscaping, brand new fencing, privacy fencing in the rear. We put the property on the market on Friday. We had 4 offers on Monday. We listed the property at $77,900. We had an offer of $77,900, $79,000, $89,000, and $90,000 on the property. And it's currently under a contract.
Very nice.
It's exciting.
Very nice.
So unfortunately, a couple of the individuals we had to disqualify. Their income levels were too high for our program. But it kind of really speaks to the interest that we're seeing of people looking and wanting to move to Port Huron.
And I would highlight that when David and I talked about this last week. I mean, when you have people who make too much money to qualify for this program, who want to live in our neighborhoods, that's a good sign. It means we're stratifying the demographics, we're bringing in the educated workforce who can help support long-term sustainability in those neighborhoods, and so it really is exciting. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions on the item before us?
Just a comment. I guess the problem I had with the list was, I think it's the middle list, where we're acquiring demolition properties. And that just kind of baffles me. I totally support the idea of the industrial park and where we're going there, but it baffles me that we wanted to purchase property that we're going to demolish.
We've toured these properties, and in fact, we do that with every list we go through. We visually go out, we walk it through the properties, and we try to identify what homes that are best to be removed to improve the neighborhood. We're going to dovetail this with a grant application We're looking at $250,000 again from using HUD funds to help us in demolition. We'll only purchase these properties if we're able to be successful in receiving those funds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Rapp?
Yes, Councilmember Archibald.
As a follow-up to that, do we have any plans for these properties once we purchase and demo the houses? Are we going to build on them, or are we going to try to sell them to neighboring properties like we have in the past? What is our plan?
Well, we've been working with Habitat for Humanity on several lots along the Howard Street area. We're also seeing more and more interest on actually spec building, as we've had with Steve Smith in building on Wright Street in Riverview area. He's built one home. He has the vacant lot behind it where he's looking to actually place a second spec home. So our hope is that as the markets continue to improve, that we will offer these sites back up for redevelopment.
Thank you.
Very good.
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Warden.
David, I just keep looking through here. Usually, when it comes before us that we're purchasing some lots or parcels, there's usually like an accompanying, it kind of shows the lots. I know the ones we purchased over on the south side there, it shows which parcels we're purchasing. I don't know if it's just not in my packet, and even for each one, what is the purchase price for each one? I don't see it anywhere, and I guess I'd like to have that information. I know you did it before, but maybe I'm missing something here in this, that, for each one, what's the purchase price, and then show me where, on the map, usually you highlight the parcel that we're picking up, or that's coming before us for us to decide on.
We can provide a list for you. Most prices are between probably $2,000 upwards to $11,000, depending on the site. But yeah, we can provide that if you would like that.
I would appreciate that, because I just think we'd had it, it's my memory before, that it's easier to look at and see exactly where you're picking these things up and for what price.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, discussion?
Yeah, did I understand you say that the city has the first rights in the foreclosure?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
If we didn't do this, what we see happening, especially in the homes that can be rehabbed, we see that there's an auction at the county, and they get swiped up, and they're made into rentals.
Oh, yeah.
And so by us purchasing them, running them through the HUD program, we qualify the actual homeowners who will make these homes that they live in, not rentals. And so if we don't take these homes, the honest to God truth is they'll probably be rentals by the end of the month. And they're not going to rehab them.
Right, okay. Thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Any discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Items 5 and 6 we can take together because they actually are both the same thing. Scheduling public hearing for June 26th on one on Huron Avenue streetscape, the other one on Military Street streetscape. So if the clerk would please read those two together.
Number 5 is scheduling a public hearing for June 26, 2017, to hear comments from all persons interested in the maintenance costs of the Huron Avenue streetscape project from the north side of Black River to the south side of McMorran Boulevard, and approving the various resolutions for the declaration of and preparation of a special assessment roll and other matters associated with the special assessment district. Number 6 is scheduling a public hearing for June 26, 2017, to hear comments from all persons interested in the maintenance costs of the Military Street streetscape project, which is from the south side of Black River to the north side of Court Street, and approving the various resolutions for the declaration of and preparation of a special assessment roll and other matters associated with the special assessment district.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Warden, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Archibald, discussion.
Yeah, hopefully my question is more informational. I'd like to know, I know there's a public comment every year to come and basically give feedback. I just wondered if these are for not only snow removal up and down the main street in those areas, the cost of it, and then also basically the streets, the flowers and the trees and the beds and that. Is there a way, or how does it work? What if the business owners and the people that own those properties, if they want, is this something that every year, when does it expire, or what if they decide that, you know, we don't want to have this anymore? Whose jurisdiction? I'm just wondering if I can learn about that part, because I know the city kind of handles that, the assessment, but is there a time frame that expires, or what if the group of business or building owners said, hey, you know, we don't want to partake in that anymore? What's the steps to, you know, where do you find out that info?
Excellent question. I believe it renews every single year. These special assessments were actually originally instituted at the request of the property owners. Snow removal is provided on the north side of Military Street Bridge, not on the south side. That's because the property owners there decided that they wanted someone to maintain the flower beds, the streetscapes, the banners, the Christmas lights are paid out of there. Then they would take care of their own snow removal. So on the north side is where the snow removal, and they pay a slightly higher special assessment to account for that. But the business community and the property owners were originally solicited and voted to impose this upon themselves. And they requested it from the city, and every single year it renews, and the DDA holds meetings monthly. They help facilitate the contracts and the maintenance of that. So, I mean, something they know about every year.
Yeah, because that's where, you know, my building is in that location, and I know I pay that assessment every year. I just was wondering, again, even with those flower beds, the trees and the planting, probably some electrical or water cost as well. If they decided not to have the city still do this, what would be the requirement for those beds? Is it the bed, you know what I mean?
So we probably wouldn't be able to do the snow plowing would be off. They'd have to shovel their own walks, just like you do south of Military Street Bridge.
Yep.
And to be quite frank, they wouldn't look as nice. We wouldn't be able to have as much contracts for flower planting and all that. So it is pretty luxurious down there in summer compared to other areas in the city.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's the information, not making a decision one way or the other. Just kind of want to know what would happen if they decided, hey, we'll maintain these ourselves. Is that the beds themselves would all be required to be maintained?
Yeah, to a certain degree. If they didn't,
because
like
some
what
of
we
them
were
are
doing.
cement, like a
Most
cement
of
bed
it,
with
be quite
trees in
honestly,
there.
goes towards snow plowing.
Yep.
That's a significant cost.
Yep.
It's also the maintenance of the actual brick pavers and the streetscape in front as well. It's everything in the street. The trash, there's trash cans out there that get emptied. That's part of the contract as well.
Okay, yeah, so I'll, just, again, wanted to know, I don't know, and I'm right there in that area. I just kind of want to know how this works.
And
what if
just like any other business owner, anyone can email me for questions like that, and I'm glad to answer.
That's good, just for informational purposes. Thank you.
If there's no other discussion, we'll take the vote.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes, we'll move on to ordinances. Number 1, please.
It's being given its first reading and is an ordinance adopting a codification and revision of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Port Huron, providing for the maintenance of said code, repealing and saving from repeal certain ordinances not included therein, and making certain changes in previously adopted ordinances.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashford, is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Archibald.
Mayor Sue can probably speak to this housekeeping agenda.
It was a big housekeeping agenda, I was letting you know. The city charter requires that every 10 years we do this. We perform a compilation or a codification of all our ordinances, and that basically means that we have an outside legal, beyond Todd Shouty this time, but ones that are specific to the ones that maintain our code, and they look at it legally and editorially to make sure that they can identify any conflicts, inconsistencies. You know, sometime you might have numbered it this way, and then later on, 5 years later, you numbered it a different way. There's cross-referencing of sections. We had a new charter that was adopted during the last 10 years. So references to the charter sections had to be updated. And rather than doing for the charter, for example, of code updating all of those, it is expensive to update a page of the code. So they were minor. We could still get you to the same chapter or the same section in the code book based on the new charter, the way we put it together. that this was the appropriate way to take care of these those were housekeeping items. Our general code was our vendor. They did review the entire code book, and they then provided us a detailed list of questions for us to review. Did you mean to do this? Did you not mean to do that? Do you realize that those two conflict? So some of the things were just mainly cleanup, but they were, we had to review each one of their questions. So my deputy, Cindy Johnsack, and the various department heads were involved with this review, along with their respective staff members. There's the city manager, and of course Todd Schaude did the final review before we submitted it back to general code. You know, it was a large undertaking. It did take us a little over 2 years, but part of the problem is because of the election last year. The timing on it ended up falling into, there was no way we could do the work on it during the presidential year. So we tried to slip it in, but it is done now. So we thank everyone that helped us with this. Every department helped us with this. So we thank every one of them for getting back to us when we had additional questions when they turned in their material. So about 7 weeks ago, I sent you the major changes of the items for you to review. Though the code company has also, as part of this ordinance, provided you with every single section that will be updated. However, this is going to be like, we call this our new code. So this will be the 2017 code, because we've had, you know, a 75, a 92, 2004, and now this one. So by giving it its first reading, you'll move it forward to the next council meeting to be given its second and final and enactment. They are ready to publish if there are no changes from council. And keep in mind that the changes that if there were to be any changes, they have to be the simple changes. If it's a more complicated item, it has to be through a regular ordinance change, because they are ready to go to print. In order for us to get it out of this budget year, I have no money next year for this process. So we are hitting it really close. I apologize for that. But as you read through this, this will supersede any general and permanent ordinances we have adopted before, and this will be our new code. And then once that's done, our online code is there. It is up to date, but it doesn't have incorporated in all the new changes that we've made in the last year, I believe. So that will be updated, and we'll be ready to go with a brand-new code.
Thank you, Sue. I can certainly attest to the work that's involved, because I went through 2 of those, so myself. So it is a lot of work, so thank you for doing that. Any questions from anyone on council?
Mayor Rapp,
Councilmember Warden.
first I want to say thanks, Sue, for your staff putting your time in on this. Just a quick question. Is anything that changed, is that in here, like, is that at the, kind of like a red line? Is that the striked, if there's any wording that was changed, so we can see what has changed? Is there a version of that? Because I see there's a couple here that have a red line through it and changing the wording.
Like what section in particular are you talking about?
I'm just saying in general to make it easier, is there a red line version of what was changed?
You know, if it was a simple change of just a section number being inappropriate, they changed it. You're not going to see any kind of redlining in their document. If there were more major ones, I had sent that to you in a memo last, at the end of April.
Okay.
And I kind of detailed what were the different changes in the various sections. Of course, the administration under Chapter 2 was one of our bigger ones, but we were waiting for this codification to update all those little sections.
Okay.
And we did try to make it more a little bit generic, because those should just be explaining on a generic term what each administrative division does and department does. So it was mainly put forth in that other document that I gave you, and that one did show you all the yellow and the red from before.
Okay. Yeah, like page 82 has, you know, right there up top, crossed off red line and then new words, so it shows, I'm pretty familiar with this type of stuff when it has shows the change. I just didn't know if.
Page 82?
This is packet, isn't this? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't have
Packet page 82.
Well, I have all of
What section number, just out of curiosity?
This is section L1A. Oh, it's packet page 82. I just wanted to see, so when I review it.
Yeah, well, if they cross something off, that's showing you that they're crossing that off. It's going to
Yes.
come out.
Yeah, but that's exactly what's going to be changed.
On that particular section.
Okay.
So what you see written there is how the new code is going to show.
Yes.
So, and any other section, that's how it will now be appear.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes?
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Ordinance number 2.
Is an ordinance to amend Chapter 12 Businesses, Article 11, Secondhand Dealers, Sections 12-506 through 12-507, and the addition of a new Section 12-508, exceptions to certain requirements of the Act of the Port Huron Code of Ordinances, for the purpose of clarifying licensing requirements for secondhand dealers to be consistent with state law. And if I may add, this was done after the codification and the draft was done, so that's why this one has to be presented. These other two along with them, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion?
Support.
By Councilmember Archibald, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Ashford. Is there discussion?
Mayor Rep.
Councilmember Warden.
Just real quick, like this one, for example, will show every change highlighted and line through, so that's what I was referencing.
Right,
This
and
is-
whenever we do a single ordinance like this,
Yep.
you will always see it like that.
That's right.
But this is, because this was such a large undertaking, I'd have to show you every comma.
Nope, that's just,
Yeah,
that's what I was
okay.
referencing. Thank you.
Any discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Councilmember Warden.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald. Yes. Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb.
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 3.
Is first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 52 zoning, Article 1 in general, Section 52-3 definitions A through I, Section 52-5 definitions R through Z, and Article 3 district regulations, Division 16 schedule of regulations, Section 52-621 schedule footnote B of the Port Huron Code of Ordinances for the purpose of clarifying terms related to waterfront setback without changing the intent or distance of the setback requirements.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashford, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't quite sure. I knew it was a male voice coming down from that end, so. Is there discussion?
Mayor Rapp, just a question, before he brings it to council at the next meeting for the final thing, maybe we can bring some kind of a light draft of what the intent was, what this ordinance was for. You know, when I look through it, I know there was a change, one it says from a line drawn from a structure, and they changed structure to dwelling, and it's kind of hazy. I was trying to figure out what the intent was for.
Good evening, Council. The intent is for clarification, and as you noticed, as you picked up, it was between the terms building, structure, and dwelling.
Right.
And under the definitions of structure, the original language, including identifying the structure as the rear setback line, in particular for waterfront properties, well, that also could include, and some argued, of a shed could be a structure. So all of a sudden, you have a neighbor where he has a shed in the rear portion of his yard. He's thinking that's his established setback. Well, that unfortunately opens the door for someone who wants to put an addition onto the back of a house that all of a sudden drives back all the way to that shed line. Well, the whole intent of this language was to preserve the views of the waterfront from the dwelling in the home. And so we decided that we need a better clarification that what we're talking about in the setting the setback line is from the point of the existing dwellings. So therefore, your neighbor can't go next to you and build 30 feet out, and all of a sudden your view is blocked from of the water on that side. So that really just establishes where those points are and puts further clarification.
So gazebo wouldn't be a structure, because
Exactly.
now it's identified as a dwelling. So they couldn't
Exactly.
use that as okay, I get it, and I think it's the right move then, yep.
Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly.
Any other questions?
Not a question, but a comment. So this actually goes in line across the board when you're referencing structure?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Thank you. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Warden.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 4 under ordinances.
Is an ordinance to amend Chapter 52 zoning, Article 3, District Regulations, Division 8, C1, General Business District, Section 52-32, and Division 9, CBD, Central Business District, Section 52-412 of the Port Huron Code of Ordinances for the purpose of allowing tattoo parlors or tattoo establishments as principal permitted uses in a C1 zoning district, known as a General Business District, and a CBD zoning district, known as a Central Business District, with a 500 feet distance requirement.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashford, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Lamb. Is there discussion?
Mayor Rapp,
Councilmember Archibald.
this item originally came before planning and was voted down in its original reading. There was a concern by the planning commission, the way it was changed, that tattoo parlors could pop up, 17 of them in a row, and basically take over downtown Port Huron or, any street. So it was originally rejected and sent back for further review and some changes. Came back before planning with a limit of that 500 feet so that we would at least be able to not prevent someone from doing business, but stop that issue of all of a sudden we have 17 of them in a row in downtown Port Huron. So it was passed unanimously at the planning commission with the changes brought forward.
Thank you for bringing that up. Is there any other questions, discussion?
Yeah, Mayor Rep.
Councilmember Warden.
Yeah, I attended and tried to follow that planning commission, and I just had a quick question on when it says, when you guys finalize this, it looks like to 500-foot radius of the property line of another establishment, and I'm just wondering if somebody's in a maybe there's a multi-use of let's say a strip mall or a building has multiple tenants occupying it, but the building itself might be 200 feet by 100 feet. Is it going to be from the building that it's in? Is the 500 feet for the property line, even though they might be in the northeast corner and the building is 200 feet long, and the southeast, is it by the building property line or where their occupancy of the tenant might be, their occupancy within that? That's the only thing I had a question on, because we have some large buildings, which there's definitely some we'll subdivide no problem for multiple tenants, but the building itself is much larger.
It'll be from the established building point.
So the building itself?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions, discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Councilmember Warden.
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, that concludes our agenda for this evening. Another thing I'd like to mention, and I'll open it up to anybody, is if they didn't get a chance, there was a grand opening of the museum on Friday night, and they've really done some wonderful things there. If you haven't had a chance to get into our local museum, I encourage you to do so. It really does look nice. So, yeah, it's very nice. They've done a great job on that, refurbishing. And they're able to use it now for other things and have weddings and different things there and rent it out, so that'll help them financially as well. So, is there anything else from any council members?
Mayor Rep?
Councilmember Warden.
Yeah, just a real quick, I just, I love having people come in public participation if they want to come comment and address us, and I just, on some of these from the Main Street Memory Car Show, I think it was outside my front door. It's nice to have that group kind of coming back. But I just, when somebody comes up and maybe asks a question, I just wanted to make sure that we're, I guess, still being open about and accepting their comments. And I just kind of listened to this regarding the parking comment. To me, it sounded like he was just inquiring about it, and I think I just think be more open and possibly engaging of what they're looking for feedback. Because I just don't want to discourage anybody from coming here and being afraid to make a public comment to us, to bring it up in their own way. So that's just what I had as a suggestion of an observation. So thank you guys for coming and making that public comment. Thank you.
Mayor,
Councilmember Ruiz.
if I may, I've done 9 years of council that I've been here. We have never discouraged anyone, and we've seen all kinds of demonstrations and all kinds of issues, anywhere from almost short of a marching band coming through here. It's been that wide open, and we listen to all people. And there are times I think we have to respond and make sure that as people who are watching this meeting or in attendance at the meeting realize that we do listen, and yet we do have an answer. It's not like we're sitting here and not listening, and we do respond. And I think this was, for example, in a time when we had to respond, hopefully in an appropriate manner, that we have responded, and there are some things being done. It's not being ignored. And that person who's still here can always come back and say, this is what I'm talking about, and tell me what is going on, and give me an update. I'm sure that's always available. And again, as anyone else has ever been to a meeting, they're always encouraged to check with the city manager. He will respond, and always has.
And I think
Thank
the
you.
mayor, to your credit, and you caught that this evening, as every evening, if the issue is of that magnitude, yeah, that's a good word, of that magnitude in terms of it could go somewhere, you have been able to stop that and call upon the city manager to respond in that. But I think it's a risk factor when you get into the minutia of the things that it could be actually handled offline so that person can have that one-on-one and that quality FaceTime, to get the whole story instead of half a story. But on that one, the parking has been such a huge issue. We've had parking study committees, we had this committee, we had all that, and maybe everybody haven't connected those dots. And I'm sure there's still, like you said, more work being done after the study. So it isn't closed, so it's open. So, we just have to be careful that we're all on the same page up here, that we don't close any doors, we're open. And if you need to know anything, we got a mayor, we got council members, and we got the city manager. So, thank you, Mayor Rep.
Thank you. Anybody else on council have anything?
Madam Mayor, just
Mr.
to
Freed, I
add
think you had
two.
something.
Yeah, just two things. First and foremost, Councilman Warden, I appreciate your comments. I would also advise that the communication in and out of City Hall isn't just 1 hour on two Mondays a month. I have dozens and dozens of correspondence with business communities and business owners and voicemails, and I have numerous voicemails from Mark, and I'm glad to share that with all of you in communications so that you could be better informed of what's going on. We welcome input from our community. The fact that we do not have 50 downtown business owners here today, I think, is a testament to our communication strategy that we're deploying with those people. We have constant contact through our DDA director and our Downtown Development Authority through our listserv. So there's a lot of communication going on there. In closing, I just wanted to also say this past month, May 20th, we lost a long-term city employee, Elaine Schimmel, lost her battle with cancer. She served the people of Port Huron with honor and integrity, and she was just a wonderful person to work with, very pleasant, very respectful, and I know that she'll be missed by our staff, our employees, and I know that the citizens of Port Huron will miss seeing her when they come into City Hall, and she served with honor and integrity, so our condolences go out to her family.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Adjourned.